Okay, so recently Impact Soundworks reached out to me and asked me to do a review of their new product, the Altera Keys collection. Now, before I do an official review, I want to go ahead and put it through its paces. So this is more of a first look and initial impressions. Now, one cool fact that they mentioned is that this is actually aimed as a budget alternative to something like a keyscape. I believe the price on this comes in around $150. I'll leave the official price on the screen, but let's go ahead and take a look at it, see what it's capable of, see how it sounds, and see if this could be a potential fit for you and your future productions in your studio. Let's take a look. Okay, so a couple things to note. This is actually ran in Contact, as you can see here. So I've got Contact 7 open and the Altera library installs into there, which is nice because it keeps everything in one nice simple place. The UI is great, it's very simple, and let's just kind of take it one by one. So right here we see main, we have sound, we have mixer and effects. So what's cool about this plugin is that everything is self-contained and built in, so you won't have to use a lot of other external plugins. Of course you can, but this is really aimed at simplicity. So this is all encompassing. So you got your sounds, you have the ability to adjust your settings, and then you also have the ability to add your mixer and effects. So this is great. So let's go ahead and just play something, see how it sounds. All right, so the keys is the bass sound. Then we have the tines. That is what we want to have on the top. And we can use this link release if we want to combine these together to have them change at the same time. So the tines is what we hear on the top. So you can choose like your attack. That's cool. We have the shimmer. Nice. That's awesome. So this is really beginner friendly. I'll say that right off the top. Oh, you can even learn and you can automate it. And you can automate anything. Just right click it and you can assign to MIDI automation. That's great. So check this out. I'm just gonna learn MIDI automation, assign it to my key wheel, and now we got that. Cool. Now, of course, I have, this is also my mod wheel, so it's controlling the pitch bend as well. But it's just that simple. All right, let me not get sidetracked. So we have the tines, and that does your top sound, and you can link the release with that or not. The release sample is what the sound makes when you let go of the keyboard. Then we have the shimmer. Shimmer is just that nice reverb type effect, and we got a couple different ones. So you have your regular sound, and then you have the shimmer you can put on top of it. Now, I accidentally changed this to hyperbells. That's not what I had. There we go. That's your shimmer. If we take it off. Okay, shimmer back on. That really nice, beautiful, lush sound. So they make it really easy to achieve the lush sound, and you have different types. Oh, it's linked. So let me click link shimmer off, and that allows me to do whatever shimmer I want to have on top. So you can mix and match. So that's cool. So already off the top, again, they told me that this was aimed as a budget-friendly alternative. So far, I think they've done a good job with that because the UI is really simple for beginners. So that's really great if you don't have a lot of experience with sound design. This gives you the ability to kind of mix and match, and it puts it in a preset friendly type way. So they give you the presets of what they feel like was originally the intention of the sound, and then from there you can mix and match and make your own combinations. I like to do this the latter, so let's go ahead and keep mixing and matching. Let's see here. Just trying out different types of shimmer. Huh. Cool. All right. Next we have is the keys section. So this is your main sound. Obviously we turn this off, we have nothing. So this is going to be the heart of the program. And if we click this menu here, it allows us to pull this up. So mind you, I'm just learning this as I go. So this just shows you how simple the interface is. And we've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So you have 20 bass sounds. I probably could have read that online, but here we are. All right, so we have 20 bass sounds. That's nice. And it's taking us from our classic Rhodes, Wurlitzer, the DX7. Classic DX7 sound, different variations of it. So mellow, ephemerally, glory, lush. I don't know what that's based off. I feel like it's based off, I think the Roland JP800. I believe that's what that's based off of. Okay. All right, so some solid sounds here. I think good old classic Rhodes ballad right there sounds good to me. I like that one a lot. That's my vibe all day. We had the release notes. Let me go ahead and check this out. Release notes. So this is release notes. What that means is a release sample is the sound of the key lifting. So they have that. And it just gives you a sense of realism from when you're playing. It's more of a felt than heard thing, but it can sound really cool if you turn it up a little bit and get a little bit of ambience going in there. Okay, now they have a pad section, so I think that's self-explanatory. Just gonna put a pad in there for us. Let's turn this up. Nice selection. That's nice. That's nice. Let's see here. What else they got? Ooh. That's different. I like that. Okay, so I don't want to go through everything. I'll do that in the review. But long story short, they've got a bunch of different parameters that you can mix and match. They make it very, very easy for you to discover because I have not ran through any manual. I like to just throw it open and see what happens, see if I can figure stuff out. This has been really easy. I like how they have the most important thing. So as a keys player, you want to have your main sound, but then you want to have some options to modify that sound. So being able to have the pad in there and the shimmer, that's pretty sweet. So this is nice. Okay, so we checked out this main page. Now in the sound page, we've got the ability to adjust velocity curves. We can adjust the attack, decay, sustain, and release of the sound. We can adjust the preamp, the tremolo. This is cool. We can adjust the so what's nice about this is now this allows us to go in and tweak and customize the sound. So if you happen to know a little bit more about sound design and you want to step past the presets, hop into the sound page and it gives you all the accessibility right here. So this is great, and it does it by engine. So that way you can modify things separately. So this is genius. And then of course we have the mixer and effects. So it looks like we can add effects here. So let's see if they've got like a tape delay or some type of delay in here. Oh, it's just a tape. Okay. Well, that's cool. Add some tape saturation. Let's see here. I see reverb. Is there a delay? I see the wall. That's cool. That's cool. The walls are always nice. Let's see here. They have the compressors going here. See a phaser, chorus. They have the reverb. There goes the delay. That's really cool. So we got delays, choruses, reverbs, saturations. So that's all built into there, which is nice. So again, if you want to have just a self-contained situation and keep things simple, this is great for that so far, I see. So let me add my shimmer back in there. Okay, so let's kind of just recap this. So we got the main page, which we have our main sound here with the keys. Then we've got the shimmer, times, release, noise, and pad, okay? These three down here are clutch because 9 times out of 10 when you're playing in a setting, you're gonna want some shimmer or a pad, one of the two or both. So the fact that you can do that, and they have different textures, right? So they have more than just soft, warm, and lush, but they have some nice kind of creative, what's the word that I'm looking for? Hard to explain, I can just show it to you. Here we go, let's find the pad. So they have the soft and warm, but I'm talking about like this. That nice, bright sound. They got that nice bright sound. So there's different textures there. Now you can take a step further and you can modify each individual sound engine. So that's really cool as well. So for those who want to have a little more depth and customization, that's there. And then you have the mixture and effects. So you can see your settings at a glance and change them as needed, which is really cool. And then of course you can add up to 8 different effects just by simply clicking the drop down menu and adding it in there. So that's really convenient. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. So what are my initial impressions? Let's take this one category at a time. First is sound. I'd give this a solid 7 out of 10. They said that this was aimed as a budget alternative to Keyscape, so of course there might be some compromises here and there. Keyscape is a $400 program. This is a $150 program, so take that for what you will. With that being said, it does not sound bad at all. There's some definitely highly usable sounds in here. I was definitely feeling that first, just straight up Mark I Rhodes. I thought that was great. And while I don't think this is the best on the market, it's definitely not the worst. And for the price that they're asking for and for what you're getting, I think that it hits it right in the money. I think the 150 is justified. I think the sound competes, and I think 7 out of 10 is great because the reality is, unless you're deep into sound, you probably won't even hear the difference. And that's just kind of the unfortunate truth at times, is the audience doesn't necessarily even know the difference. So the point that I'm curious about is, can you make good sounds with this? And the answer is yes. I've already worked on a demo track, which I will share with you in the next video. I'm gonna do a demo on this software, just showing what I was able to come up with these sound plugins. So I give this a solid 7, 7.5 out of 10. It's a really good sound. It's solid. If I was recording somewhere else at someone else's studio and they had this there, I wouldn't be upset. I say, great, we can make this work. There's a lot of cool tools in here we can make work. But before I talk about the tools, sound passes, 7.5 out of 10. Let's talk about user interface. This gets an 11 out of 10. I think this is a phenomenal user interface. The reason why, it's very just simple to navigate. When it comes to using a program, usability is everything, because if it's not usable, it's gonna be very hard to get what's in here out there. It's the usability that helps facilitate the production flow. So it's really important that whatever tools I'm using, I can use them easily and they are easy to understand and they're intuitive. This passes that with flying colors. As you guys saw, they got the breakdown of this main page, really easy to understand. They break it down in preset form, which is really cool. So rather than having you come in with all these options, parameters, it's just, hey, here are the sounds, here's what we think works together. You can link them, unlink them, and mix and match them as you choose. So it gives you a very bird's eye overview of the process without getting you all wrapped up into the details, which can be intimidating and time consuming. And on top of that, they didn't leave that out. So if you do want more control, they have that on the sound page. So I give this user interface an 11 out of 10. Very easy to understand, very easy to follow, and I didn't even have to use a manual to figure out what I'm doing. And there's just not a lot of options to overwhelm you, which I think is always a plus. But in terms of value, this is priced at $149, and I think this is a phenomenal value because you get the raw sounds, you have the sound design capabilities, you have a very nice, easy to use interface, and it still sounds great. And that's all in one package. So you don't need anything but this one plugin, and you've got an electric keyboard suite. And that's what, again, what they were going for is a budget alternative to Keyscape. Obviously, Keyscape is massive. It's got an amazing C7 grand piano. It's got that soft grand. It's got all these Rhodes options and other specialty pianos. So of course, that's like a killer situation there. but it's also $400, and it's a little more complicated to use because you have to know what you're doing if you really want to get the most out of Keyscape. If you just get Keyscape and go through the presets, yes, it's cool, but you're really missing out. Keyscape, you really got to dive into it to get the most out of that software. But again, that's a specific audience, right? If you don't understand sound design or just not really into messing around tweaking settings, then I think that you won't get the most out of Keyscape like you should. You'll get some great sounding presets, but you're kind of leaving a lot on the table by not exploring and tweaking knobs and doing things. I mean, Eric Pearson, he knows what he's doing in sound design world, and all his products, you get the most out of it when you go explore. This was aimed again at the beginner and budget. So if you're not into sound design, or you're not familiar with it, or you're just getting started and you just want some good sounding road sounds, this is great for that because it's one, it's $150, but two, you get the actual key sound. You have an easy and great sounding shimmer that you can add at any time. You also have the pad section that you can add any time, and then you can modify those in the sound section. And then of course you can modify more in the mixer effects section. So this gives you a lot of flexibility in a small package. There's no complaints about that at all. So I talked about all the good stuff. Let me just kind of point out that I don't necessarily call this a con, but the one thing that I wouldn't like about the software is just the raw sound quality. I actually think they killed it in every single other area. The user interface, the ability to add effects, how everything's laid out. This is stellar, and you can just move really quickly and get a lot done. The drawback to me is the fact that it just doesn't have the top quality premium sound. So having used a ton of different virtual instruments, this is a tier below something like a Native Instruments Scarby Rhodes or a Keyscape Rhodes or even my Nord. But again, this Nord was $4,000. The Keyscape was $400. Scarby Rhodes and all that thing is in the 200 range, and that came apart as the complete ultimate, which was a bigger price. So, and that had its own limitations. So I don't even want to say, but the point all I'm saying is I think the only con out of this is just the sound quality. If you don't like the sounds, you don't like the sounds, there's nothing you can do about that. But I do like these sounds. I think that it does a few things really well, and I think it's got some really good sounds in here. It's just not as diverse as I would like as a standalone main one for me. But with that being said, I'm also not new to this. I'm also not a beginner. So to me, you gotta take that with a grain of salt. With that in mind, I think this passes with flying colors. I think this is a solid program. Like I said, I'm gonna have a more in-depth review later once I kind of put it through more paces. But just as a first impressions, if this has been on your radar, or if you're interested in looking for a Rhodes program that's got, all in one, where it's got your sounds, your effects, you can do some layers and get some great EP sounds out of it, this is a good option. I recommend checking it out. I'm gonna link it in the description below. And as always, I'd love to know your thoughts on this program. What did you think of the interface? What did you think of the sound sets? And what are some other programs maybe you recommend me checking out to do a review for you guys on the channel? As always, stay saucy. I'll see you guys in the next video.